What's going on, guys? Let's get back to some real Showdown. None of that motherfather stupid course rotation BS. We're going to play real Showdown. Round 4 where there's the biggest edge. What's up, new guy? I'm the Degenerate 75. I'm a high-limit DFS player who is here to help you try to get better DFS because if you don't know, this shit be tough. If you want picks, you should probably fuck off. I'm not going to give you any. But what I am going to try to help you do is understand a process of how to play this game effectively and try to give you an edge and maybe get you to build lineups in a plus EV position. If you get a little bit of luck, maybe you'll win some money. If that sounds interesting, hang around. Maybe you'll like the cut of my jib, brother. Hey, here's my schedule. If you don't know, I do the live stream every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Lord's time zone as always. Be there. If you make your lineups before that, you're a slapdick. Friday, Saturday, always at the conclusion of round 3 and round 4, I will be doing, the conclusion of round 2 and round 3, I always do this show, the Showdown Hoedown, the flagship of my station, and the Sunday Tilt is coming. So without further ado, I bring to you my show. Don't forget to hang around till the end, you sweaty prize pick assholes. I'm going to talk that stuff with you, okay? I've not forgotten about you guys. I'm a prize picks bro too, okay? I'm an asshole. I get it. It's a term of endearment, okay? So hang around till the end. We'll have a little strategy to talk, but you gotta do the DFS stuff first. If you don't know, go use my code CUTSWEATS, Degenerate75. If CUTSWEATS is the coolest damn site out there, as you can see, the 6 of 6 rate this week is disgusting. It is not above 5% in any of the contests. It's lingering around 4% in all of them. I was really happy with my picks this week. I played the Tom Kim was my big pivot up top. Of course, John Rahm's my most exposed player. Dietrich's doing fine. Lipsky finally remembered how to play golf today, but in the end, just didn't have very high 6 of 6 rates. As you can see, I've got a bunch of nice 5 of 6 lineups and some of the more higher end stuff. And maybe with a low 6 of 6 rate, I can still finish high, but no real huge sweats, at least for week long. I'll be playing some Sunday Showdown, so maybe we'll get some there. If all this stuff interests you, plus he'll have up simulations tonight, he being Nelson over at CutSweats, where you can see how much your lineups are really worth to see if you really have a chance to win some money. All of that will be up tonight. Half off your first month. Use my code DGen75. Best damn site out there. I'll swear by it. All right, let's talk about how the course played today, you motherfather. If you don't know, the cut is -10, which is insanely high. Okay, you do got to take into account that it was a 3-round cut, so of course it's going to be high, but let's face it, they just roasted this course today, much like I told you they would. I hope you watched the end of the prize pick show yesterday, because basically every person I told you to play the under on got there. Not because I'm like, ooh, I'm some genius that can see the future. It's just like I knew they were going to roast the course. It's just basic, simple math, brother. So, if you had those guys at -9, -8, kiss them goodbye. They didn't make the cut. Part of the reason the cut was so low. But what's nice about tomorrow is if you don't know, they're finally all going to be on the same course. None of this 3-course BS on Sunday. They will all be on the stadium course, which is the predominant course. That was the one most of the big stars were on today, right? So because of that, we can actually glean a little bit of information and draw from that. First of all, if you want to go look over the 3 days, the stadium course played 3.5 under, or 2.5 under, 1.5 under, and then almost 3.5 under today. Why did it play so much easier today? I think the largest reason was there was just better players in the groups, and better players score better. I don't know if you've ever noticed that, right? It's kind of like better players show up higher in models too. I know, blow my mind. So, what do we need to look at today? Well, first of all, my first big takeaway is look at the morning versus the afternoon scoring. Almost identical. So it didn't really seem as though the course warming up seemed to make any difference, right? And there was hardly any wind out there today. So I think those are two things that we need to keep into effect that, do we want to play guys tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon? Although I can almost certainly guarantee you they will be going off on 3s from both 1 and 10. They're going to try to get this round done as fast as they can, just like they have done the first 3 rounds. Plus, you got the slow pro-am nature, and they don't want to be up against NFL. So the round is just now ending, so they haven't officially put out tomorrow, but I can almost assure you that everybody will go off within a 2-hour window off 1 and 10 in groups of 3. There you go. All right, contest selection. If you don't know, this is the first place you're bleeding away money, so let's talk about it. A lot of people will see this big $20 amount, but man, they're only doing $50,000. Okay, well, I agree. Normally, it's like 80 or 60 they do on Sunday, right? So it seems a little disappointing that they don't have enough faith in us PGA Showdown hardos to put out a good contest for us. But strangely enough, I'm actually glad they did 50 instead of 60, because when they do 50, they drop first place down to 10,000. So now it's only 20% of first place, as opposed to when it's a $60,000 contest, they're going to give 20,000 to first. And I don't want to play in a contest where a third of all the money goes to one dude. Okay, that's just a bad format. So I actually am more interested in this than I normally would be. Yes, second place is not half of first, and yes, 10th place is only 1/33 of first. But for the main contest for a Sunday Showdown when football's still here, it's not bad, Bob. It's not bad. Okay. Same thing with the 555. If you have a heavier bankroll, only 20% to first. You gotta love that. This is a really nice balanced contest. You want to play one lineup tomorrow? This might not be a bad one to throw in. But the best one you should always play is, of course, this one right here. It is the one that I fought so hard for to get. It is the 18 max $10, where you can basically, for $180, get a nice solid player pool, mix and match your players, and not be playing your 5 lineups versus some pros 150. So this is a good one to play in. If it's a little above your level, you can never go wrong with the $1.20 max, the $3.20 max, the $5 single entry, the quarter. All of those are very viable. Just play in contests that follow those certain rules about how much goes to first, how much of second goes to first, and how much of 10th goes to first. Of first goes to 10th. There we go. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, let's check the first thing we always check. You mother father. It's weather. All right, let's check it. The Wind Finder, Windfinder's been on one this week. I swear they're like if you hit refresh too much, they're like, hey, let's fuck with him and just put a random spike at 3:00 for no reason. They do it. I don't know why they do it, but they do. But as you can see, tomorrow looks very, very mild. It is going to be just a wee bit colder tomorrow, so maybe that'll affect scoring, but I don't expect too much. Let's go check Willy Weather. I don't know why I'm Irish tonight. I don't know. Well, maybe the movie I watched earlier. You can see same thing over here on Willy Weather. They're not predicting much. Let's check the Weather Channel. I have heard they do wind. Let's see here. Yeah, it's going to get up to a blistering 6 miles an hour right as they're probably getting off the course, okay? So as far as wind goes, I'm not too worried about it. I would like to have my guys out there as the course warms up, but I just don't think that in that 2-hour window you're going to be able to nail the perfect player. So really, I would just play the guys you like and not put a ton of consideration into weather tomorrow. And if I'm saying that, that means something, because I'm always the dude trying to get a weather edge, okay? How about this? How about, like the big guy's going to be busy tonight. Got a lot of shit to do for the Discord and everything, and I've got time to make all my lineups. I want to enter 150 lineups. What do? I go put them right here in the solver, right? Yeah, right here. And if you don't know, look, DGen75, look, I put all my projections, all my ownership on there. This is the best optimizer out there. It will help you make your lineups efficiently, take your player pool and make the best versions of it. You definitely want to check it out. So many people are signing up for it, and it's just a better way to make lineups, a more efficient way to make lineups and to make your player pool work for you. And, the best part is $25 a month, which is outrageous for how cheap of an optimizer or how good the optimizer is. Make sure you use my landing page, and when you do that, you'll get all my projections, all my ownership automatically uploaded for you, and you will be able to use the optimizer. So there you go. Go check it out. The solver. It'll be in the description, I believe. I don't know. The editor does that shit. All right. Well, we're going to look at stats, but we got to take this with a grain of salt, right? We're going to be looking at event stats. And you got to remember, every person has now played the stadium course one round. For all of you that are maybe new to this, on the secondary courses, La Quinta and Nicklaus Tournament, there is no shot tracker, right? And if there's no shot tracker, well, we can't really use strokes gained data. Strokes gained data is all this shit up here, approach, off the tee, all of that. So the only course that we have strokes gained data for is the stadium course. But some of these guys haven't played the stadium course since freaking Thursday. So we got to take any stats we see on here with a grain of salt, right? But at least it'll give us an idea of who played well on the stadium course, at least out of the people that made the cut, right? Because, over half the people are now gone. But before we get to that, I think you always want to start with who are some guys you should play. And by the way, how are you not on Dylan Wu and Harry Higgs today? I told you to play those guys. I'm kidding. If you play those guys, salute. Hats off to you, you motherfather. And by the way, I will say this. I said play the Nicklaus Tournament course, and literally all 4 of the nut scores today came from Nicklaus Tournament. Not like I was like, ooh, I'm so smart, but like that was just the play. We had already seen it was playing easier. They were getting a better wave of players today than they had the day before. It just made all the sense in the world that Nicklaus Tournament was the one to play today. And Sam Burns didn't let us down. Wyndham Clark, he was my number 1 exposed player today, and he did me just fine. But, you kind of had to have these guys too. Okay, you kind of had to have them, and I didn't have them. Taylor Montgomery, that guy can just mother-father putt. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. So some guys that I'm instantly not even considering tomorrow, right? Basically, any guy that was -8 or better, get the fuck out of here. I ain't playing him, right? If you think that Brandon Wu, and by the way, I have seen Brandon Wu go, wait, he missed the cut. He didn't even make the cut, so forget him. If you think Brendan Steele can go back-to-back 8-unders, well, then go ahead and play him. But remember, he shot an 8-under on the stadium course today. I will tell you, as a guy who knows Brendan Steele very well, that is probably about a 97 percentile outcome for him. If you think that he's going to stack 97 percentile outcomes back-to-back days, you go right on ahead. I'll pass. That's where I'm at, okay? I'll go somewhere else. Who's going to be even more popular than him? Bez, Harry Higgs, Dylan Wu, because these guys are going to start in the top 10. Everyone's like, I want them fake position points that don't do anything until the end of the round, but I'm going to chase them anyways. So right there, all those guys, they all had 90, probably 95 percentile plus outcomes for all of these guys, right? I'm not playing them. Now, a guy like Sam Burns having a great round today, a guy like Adam Hadwin, a guy like John Rahm, Taylor Montgomery, I am open to playing them because really good players, elite level players, can put together 2 great rounds in a row, especially the elite, your John Rahms, your Xander Schauffele's, guys like that can put together 2 great rounds. I don't know if I want to call Adam Hadwin an elite, but you get the point, right? So that right there should just instantly help you get off a ton of guys tomorrow if you just want to play the game, because these guys are going to be at a higher ownership than they should be, and they're just mathematically, there's just no way they're going to produce that round again. Maybe one of those guys will do well, and you'll be like, I told you, and I'll go point out the 9 guys that bomb tomorrow, okay? From there, well, who are some guys we're looking at playing? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right down here to the cut line, which once I already told you is -10, and I want to see some mother fathers who just spun their wheels today, right? Okay, Alex Smalley, he could never do good tomorrow. He couldn't even score on the Nicklaus tournament course today. I'm not going to play him at the stadium course. He could never do good tomorrow. Or he could. Harry Hall, he didn't do anything today. He could never. Oh, Justin Rose, stadium course. See, he's not a real golfer. Stadium course, he shot even day. He could never do good tomorrow. Or he could. Okay, you think Justin Rose is really going to lose 2.25 strokes putting 2 days in a row? Doubt it, Bob. Patrick Cantlay, I knew I shouldn't have played that loser. Well, first of all, he's coming off a great round, so you shouldn't have played him. But he did terrible at stadium course day. I could never play him tomorrow. Or you could. The point being is you got to stop leaning. You got to stop thinking that just because somebody played bad today, they're going to play bad tomorrow. Be open to these guys. Now, I will tell you, of all the guys I just named, you got to be a little bit more worrisome about playing a guy like Patrick Cantlay. Patrick Cantlay, out of all those guys I named, could definitely break the slate more than any of these guys. He could legit go shoot a -10 tomorrow. Would not surprise me. He is unbelievable when he gets hot. However, Patrick Cantlay is going to be expensive tomorrow. When you play an expensive guy like that, you are opening yourself up to not being able to also get Rahm in your lineup, right? If you're going to fade Rahm, that's fine. Switching off of Rahm to Cantlay is a super bold play. And in a big field GPP is probably a very viable play, right? Because you're thinking, well, I can't play Rahm. He's going to win. He's going to get all those position points. Okay. Well, just so you know, let's say, the difference between Cantlay backdooring a top 20 and Rahm winning is only not even 2 birdies. Okay, it's a birdie and a half is the difference. So in a world in which Cantlay beats him by 2 birdies, even if Rahm still wins the tournament, Cantlay will have outproduced him by total points, and that's all we really care about. Okay, am I saying that likely is going to happen? No, John Rahm is apparently God. Okay, he's the best golfer of all time. He really is playing unbelievable. So I'm not telling you to fade Rahm, but I am saying there is a path to where you could pivot off of Rahm to Cantlay, but you just got to be aware that you're still paying a very premium price for a guy that probably has no chance at backdooring a top 10. Okay, which is nice that to get all those birdies and eagles that Cantlay could get you, but you do want to get some position points at the end. So just be aware of that. So these guys down here, -10, -11, -12, there's going to be guys that just didn't really play well today that did not get the most out of their round, right? Give me a Siwoo bounce back tomorrow. -3 may sound good, but that wasn't good today, brother. Who else? T-Dunks. Well, I don't know if I really want to count on T-Dunks. Jason Day, bounce back legend tomorrow, right? He really just did not play that well today. Those are the kind of guys I'm going to want to target. The next thing I'm going to consider, and this is one I actually had to go do some research on because I really wanted to understand this. People think that I just fade every single guy in the top 10. Bull butter. I have rules set. When I'm over here building my lineups and using an optimizer, I put a rule in that every lineup must contain 2 guys from the top 10, right? Because I have found that you need to have those guys that start in the top 10. It's really good when your showdown lineup can have the winner in it. Now, it's not that great if you pick John Rahm and he wins tomorrow because he was already starting him first, so you're not really picking up any additional points, right? What I'm talking about is when you can go get a guy like Sam Burns who starts T5 and then moves up and wins, because not only is he having an amazing round getting all those birdies and all those eagles, he also goes and steals all those position points that you weren't banking on. So I have found, I set a rule that you always play at least 2 guys. So I'll probably, in my player pool tomorrow, let's say I have 15 guys in it, I will probably have at least 4 to 5 guys that are T9 or higher in my player pool. So to say that I'm fading all the guys up top is not true. I am just not a guy that's going to go play a Davis Thompson or a Christian Bezadenhout or a Harry Higgs or all of these guys that are up here who are very, very likely to implode in my opinion. opinion, right? And then when you factor in that Jon Rahm's probably going to be 55 or 60% owned tomorrow, I probably won't play him either and just hope, like he remembers that he is a mere mortal tomorrow. And if that happens, well, now all of a sudden I have like tremendous leverage, right? It is very easy for Tom Kim to go outscore Jon Rahm tomorrow because he's only starting in 5th place from 1st, which is like legit is less than a birdie difference, right? So now all I have to do to get Tom Kim to outscore Jon Rahm is just have him get 1 birdie, or just have Jon Rahm drop to 2nd place if he doesn't win the tournament, and Tom Kim scores about the same as him, he'll outscore him. So that's how you play the game right there. Don't fall in love with position points. It's where they finish, not where they start. You got to remember that. I know it looks good when you start way over to the right in the green because you took all the guys in the top 10 until like Davis Thompson shits down his leg, and then you're like, wait, why did I play this guy again? It's Davis Thompson. It's Harry Higgs. What am I doing? All right. So I actually went back and I looked at 20 GPP winners, right? I could only look at contests I had played in. So it wasn't the hugest data set, and it was only from the contests that I played in. And I went and I looked at how often did they play guys that started the round in the top 10. There's 6 guys in their lineup. How many of those guys played or started the round in the top 10? And the answer over those 20 lineups averaged out to 2.7 players out of the top 10. So that lets you know that the majority of their lineup were coming from chasers, right? Guys outside of the top 10. It could be these T21 guys, these T27 guys. And yes, they had on average 2 or 3 guys in their lineup that started in the top 10, but the majority of their lineups had guys that were down and lower in the pack, lower owned guys that made big charges that day and moved up, got some of those position points, but also got all of the points you get for birdies, eagles, birdie streaks, those things that you need to really win. And so that is a super useful thing to remember, that if your lineup consists of 5 guys that all start in the top 10, I think you're just making an unoptimal lineup, right? I looked at 20 winners, and that was what the data showed me, 2.7. There was one that had 5 in it, and there was one that had 1, but almost all of them were 2, 3, or 4, okay, with the majority just being 2. So that is why I like to build with 2 guys. All right, from there, as always, if you want to go look at strokes gained data, you can, but you're going to be like, wait, Jason Day picked up 4 strokes on approach at the stadium course? I thought he sucked today. He did suck. He played La Quinta today. So you're actually looking at data from him from, what was that, Friday, right? So yes, Jason Day has already shown a proclivity to be good on this course, but do we really want to go off data that's 2 days old? That is a question you have to answer. I don't know how you want to answer your data. So just remember, if you're going to go over to data golf and you're going to look at this stuff and you're going to be like, man, he really shitted away with the putter today. That could have been him shitting it away with the putter on Thursday. You're going to have to remember which round they just played. For a guy like Brendan Steele, yes, he did pick up 3.16 on approach today being Saturday, and that would seem to be very relevant as tomorrow is Sunday for round 4, right? But if you go look at a guy like Harrison Endicott and be like, oh my God, he picked up 3 strokes on approach? Yeah, on Thursday, okay? Not exactly the most relevant information I've ever seen in my life, right? If you look at Jon Rahm, who did play the stadium course today, he ball struck like an animal and actually wasn't even that great at putting and chipping, just slightly above average. And if you don't know, Jon Rahm is actually a tremendous putter and around the greens. I would actually expect those numbers to be higher if he just played to his normal average, because his average isn't 0 like a lot of people. His is like 0.45. He's a really good short game player, which is putting plus around the green, right? So I'm not going to go through all these stats. I think they're super murky. I think tomorrow is a day that you play the game. I think you really want to find the guys in the top 10 that you like, and I think you want to be aware when you're building a lineup how you want it to look. Which guys from the top 10 do you want? If you're going to start with Poston and Burns, well, that's going to give you a ton of money that now that if you're going to start with those 2 guys, now you can go explore some different high-end options, right? You can go explore a Finau, a Xander Schauffele, a Patrick Cantlay, guys like that who made the cut, who are way back there, and not a soul is going to frickin' play tomorrow because everybody is going to play Jon Rahm. And so you got to remember, it was one tournament Jon Rahm shot an 8 under and was 1.5% owned. And the dude tweeted out afterwards, like, glad I could have the best player in the world at 1.5%. And he won him like $100,000 Sunday round 4 showdown. Because sometimes just having the best player at 1% is the answer. And that could be a guy like Patrick Cantlay tomorrow. Who's just another mega stud that's down here. Let's see. You could never do good tomorrow. Or he could. Will Zalatoris. Tom, the cheesesteak hoagie. I'm just trying to find Tagala, but that's my stud. You stay away from him. Siwoo Kim. I've seen him win on a Sunday before. There you go. That is the strategy for tomorrow. You make your picks. You make your strategy. All I'm asking is that you be cognizant of what you're doing and have a plan. Have a plan of action, right? Office Space. Plan to plan, brother. do that and be aware of what you're doing. If you start your lineup with Rahm and you're like, all right, I'm going to get tricky now and go Davis Thompson, JT Poston, and Christian Bezuidenhout, finish it out with Burns and Tom Kim. Okay, bro. Like, what are you doing? Like, that's just, you're going to be like, I wouldn't even call you a 1v1. You're probably going to be duped 580 times. And that lineup, I would say, literally has less than 0.1% chance of winning. If that's what you want to do, you go ahead. But I think you want to be aware and really pick guys up in the top 10. Guys who are, these no-namers that are coming off great rounds, I'll pass on. Guys in the top 10 that I'm not afraid to go back to after a good round, Sam Burns, Jon Rahm, JT Poston, obviously Scotty Scheffler, Sung J M. If those guys have great rounds, I don't care because they're world-class players and they can definitely do it 2, 3, or even 4 rounds in a row, okay? But when you go, if you're going to plan on, Bez to continue to shoot 10 unders, well, I'm just going to tell you, good luck tomorrow, brother. Because, maybe he'll be the one that does it. But if you have him and Higgs in a lineup, I will almost bet you my left arm that one of them shits the bed tomorrow. Hey, go do me a favor. We're almost to, 2,400, trying to get to 3,000 by the Masters. Go drop me a like and a sub, you motherfather. I appreciate you. More important than that, let me just tell you about my website, dgn75.com. If you ever want to belong to a community and not just be a number that you go pay for a tout site and you never have any interaction, you don't ever feel like you belong to anything, then check out my site because we are all about the community over here. That's what we do. We have a very unique community that is positive and optimistic and fun. And we remember what DFS is about, not being toxic assholes. Also, did you know that I won't give you a single freaking pick over here? Yeah, you're going to sign up for a website and I'm not going to give you a single pick. I'm going to teach you how to play, and you're going to make your own picks and have your own process. But I am going to give you the best tool in all of Showdown. It's this bad boy right here called the Rosetta Stone, which has every useful stat that you need to measure round 4. Instead of just throwing a bunch of random numbers at you and telling you, good luck, dipshit, I'm actually going to lay out the things that matter and color code it so you can easily analyze it and make good, wise decisions when selecting your player pool and trying to get an edge at Showdown, which, is getting harder because people are getting sharper at this shit. So if any of that interests you, go sign up for my website. If not, it's cool. You can just watch the free shit on YouTube. It ain't going nowhere. Always reach out to me on Twitter. You can shoot me a DM. I'll always reply. I'm not like a guy that takes myself to his head. So if you shoot me a DM, I'll always give you a thoughtful and timely response. Last thing I want to talk about, here are 4 guys that actually are really good round 4 scores based on their salary, right? Jason Day, Ryan Armour, Keith Mitchell, Steven Yeager are all top 20 round 4 scores over their last 12 rounds that are all priced under $8,000. So if you believe that some guys really take on that round 4 mindset and attack pins and are going out there to score and say, fuck it, these are 4 guys to consider for you. For all you Pies Picks bros, I know it's still not up, but here's what I would tell you. The only chance this course has at protection tomorrow is tucked pins. I have PGA comms up real quick. Let me see if I hit refresh. Hopefully it doesn't. Come on, give me some flags. Nope, it's still not up. What I would do is I would go look at PGA comms when they put out the flag sticks. And if you see flag sticks in the center of greens, not tucked in corners, that's why I wanted to show you, because a lot of people don't know what I mean when I say that. But if you see, at least half of the flags in centers of greens, they're going to roast this course tomorrow. So I would be taking the over on almost all of the 5.5 birdies, especially for the studs. And honestly, for Rahm and Cantlay and guys like that, I'd probably even take the over on 6. For strokes, I think you want to be all about being under on 45s. I just saw 4.5 there. Excuse me. Brain fart. I would definitely be all on the unders for 68s and lower, right? Because all you got to do to shoot a 68 is a -4. And I think this course will average about 3.5 to 4 strokes under par tomorrow. And so because of that, all they have to do is literally shoot average and they can shoot a 68. So I would be attacking those 2 things as always. I do not like the fairways on this one. A lot of good drives still run off. So I'm not trying to do fairways gained, and I'm also not trying to do greens in regulation because I see so many guys land on the fringe and then putt to the really short fringes. And that doesn't count as a green in regulation. So I don't like those. So really attack overs on birdies, unders on strokes, unless you see tucked pins or they set ridiculous 7 birdie numbers out there or something like that, right? That's all I got for you guys. I hope you've enjoyed this show. I hope you kick some ass. If you do, shoot me a tweet and I'll reshare it with everybody. I hope to see you Wednesday for the live stream where we're going to be after it for whatever tournament, the Farmers, another split course. I hope to see you guys there. But in the meantime, I hope you just enjoy this outro.